All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Monday, March 11th, 2019, and we just finished with week 5 of the AAF. So, of course, we just had a bunch of good games. My recap of week 5 will be coming soon, so we're not going to get into that here because at the end of week 5, we go into week 6, and then we have a new week 6 pick'em video to make. So, here we are. Let's jump right into our video. Week 6 AAF pick'em, and let's start, of course, as always, with the Saturday games 3/16, 2019. That's also, Stone Cold Steve Austin Day. It's a fun day for wrestling fans, blah, blah, blah. So first and foremost, we have the 4 o'clock game at Royce Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah. This will be on Bleacher Report Live for anyone who wants to watch it, or on various amounts of YouTube streams out there. And it's sort of a boring bottom of the barrel matchup. We have the 2-1-4 teams. The Express proved last week they were the worst team to them in the Legends, so we have the worst team in the East versus the worst team in the West. As I wrote, this is truly a battle of the two worst teams in the league. My bet is that the Express win this game because the Stallions still have yet to win a game. The first time they play a team, they have yet to do that. They have to play you twice in order to beat you, and they also have to be at home. Until then, I think they remain underdogs. Plus, they lost to the Fleet. The Express beat them. So you're looking at common opponents. Did one team beat another team that another team didn't? I'm going to go with the most recent example. And yes, the Express beat the Fleet where the Stallions couldn't. So I guess I like the Stallions, or I like the Express to win this game about 23-20. Normally you would go with a home team in a matchup like this, but Salt Lake just seems to lose in some kind of way. Like they were up and then they lost on a game-winning field goal. It's just like they took the lead with 50 seconds left and they let the other team come back and win. So I don't really like them. I don't trust them. Um, I'm a fan of the Express. So when you have the shit bull like this that's coming up, it's pretty easy to just go, yeah, I think the team I like will win. So 23-20, I think that's a fair score. Express beat the Stallions. So not much to talk about when a game is as potentially as bad as the Express versus the Stallions are going to be. But let's go ahead and then, since this game's kind of a boring kind of who cares game, let's go ahead and go to the next game, which is a lot better. We have the game will be at Spectrum Stadium in Orlando, Florida. The time will be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the NFL Network for TV for those who want to watch it. It'll feature the Arizona Hotshots at the Orlando Apollos, and I mean, a couple weeks ago, maybe like when both teams were 2-0, this was a preview of the actual like league championship that would be coming up in about 10 weeks. But with the way everything has gone, the Hotshots have cooled off entirely. I don't know what's going on with them. They looked like the favorites to win the whole thing when the league started, but they just have cooled off and have vanished as a team. So take that into consideration. They're also going to the best. They're on the road against the best team in the league that just exposed the Iron as incredibly overrated, beating them 31-14. This game is just, like I said 3 weeks ago. This was a very, very intriguing, good matchup, and now that we're here, we have one team that's 5-0 and just beats up on everybody else. They beat up on a 3-1 team. I don't see this being a very close game. I have the Apollos winning 35-25, and the further erosion of the Hotshots happen. They came back late against the Commanders, but still lost the game. It was too little, too late. I don't know. I thought the Hotshots were going to be a lot better than they were this year, but they turned out to just be incredibly average with a very, very inconsistent team. Whereas the Apollos, on the other hand, no one really thought this would happen. Best defense, best offense, maybe second best defense, best overall team, best coaching, best play. Like, it's just everything about this Apollos team works. They're going to be at home. They can win on the road. They can win at home. Their defense steps up when their offense isn't there. Their offense steps up when the defense isn't there. And that has very rarely happened as they're ranked 1 and 2 in the league at defense, offense, and defense respectively. So this is going to be a murking of another team that just should have been better than what they are, but fell apart. Again, I like the Apollos 35, Hotshots 25. So, so Express win 23-20, Apollos win 35-25. Let's go ahead and go to these Sunday games. This is another foregone conclusion type of game when you think about it at the offset. But once you look at like, oh, okay, some things are going on for some of both of these teams. But let's go into it. This game will be at Georgia State Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. The time will be 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the CBS Sports Network, and it pits the San Antonio Commanders traveling to the Atlanta Legends. This seems rather cut and dry on the surface, as I was saying, but both teams are entering this game on a two-game winning streak. So, um, eh, and they both, all right, so here's the fun part, and they both have beaten the Hotshots on their two-game winning streaks. I believe the Commanders beat the Hotshots, and the Legends got their first win of the season against the Hotshots. So when you're looking at this, you're like, wow, these two teams might actually be a lot more close than we think. The Legends are playing a lot better. They seem to maybe have found their identity after winning two straight. They beat the Legends, and that, not the Legends. They beat the Hotshots, and then they beat the Express. That's pretty good. That's two games. That's two in a row. You're on a roll. You're at home. You might be a little bit hard of an opponent, and that's why I think the Commanders only win this game 24-20, and it's because the Legends are rolling. They're on a hot streak. They're on a winning streak. They've beaten two teams in a row. They've beaten a mutual opponent that the Commanders have beaten in the Hotshots. So you're looking at two. Okay, there's some things we can compare against these two teams. Which team played the Commanders better or the Hotshots better? I would say arguably the Commanders did because they took a huge lead and were able to sustain a comeback. And then when you really want to compare it, you're like, all right, what can I really compare these Commanders to? Well, the Commanders have a better record. All right, we can kind of offset that because it's only a game different or two games different. With a home appearance for the Legends. So you're like, all right, we're playing on pretty equal footing between the Commanders and Legends right now. What's the major difference? I would go with the very last win that they had. The Legends beat another bad team in the Express. I'm not trying to take away the victory by the Legends. A victory is a victory, and they're hard to get. So, they're 2-3, two-game winning streak. But when you look at the Commanders' last opponent, they played the Iron, and I mean they beat the. No, they've beaten the Iron on as a part of their winning streak here. So because they just beat the Hotshots last week, the Legends did, or the Commanders did. I'm sorry. I'm goofing up on things. And the first win of this winning streak for the Commanders was against the Iron. The Legends have beaten the Express and the Hotshots, two teams that are performing like really bad and dramatically underperforming. The Hotshots are, and the Express are probably like the worst team in the league outside of the Stallions. And then you look at the Commanders. They beat they beat a kind of sputtering out of control Hotshots team, but they also handed like the best defense in the league their first loss of the season at home. They went into Alabama and beat the Iron for the first team to do that all season. And when I think of that, I'm like, all right, so this team can go on the road and beat the best defense in the league. I don't know how good of a shot the Legends really have considering that fact. Yes, they've beaten mutual opponents, but that other win for the Commanders is a lot more. Beating the Iron is a lot more impressive than beating the Express. And so with that in mind, I'm gonna go. Yeah, San Antonio can go on the road and beat the Iron in Alabama. I don't think they're gonna have a problem going into Atlanta and beating up the Legend, who aren't that good. But I think the Legend put up a fight. It's gonna be a lot closer than we all think. I think Commanders win 24-20. I know they, based on the fact that looking at both the two-game winning streaks, beating the Iron at home or on the road is more impressive than beating the Express and the Hotshots. Both teams beat the Hotshots, so. But yeah, that's my pick. 24-20, Commanders beat the Legends. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game and the final game of the weekend. It is at SDCCU Stadium in San Diego, California. The time is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the NFL Network. And this is sort of an upset pick, sort of not, because I have something to say about the Iron. I think the San Diego Fleet beat the Birmingham Iron at home 23-18, and it's mainly because of this one reason and this one reason only. Yes, the Fleet are a very inconsistent team. Yes, they're not 5-0. They're supposed to be 3-2. I goofed it up. Sorry about that. I copied it from whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just know that they're 3-2. The The Fleet, inconsistent team at best. They look really good one week, then they look really bad the next week. They've lost to the Express. I think they've lost. They've lost some goofy ass games. I believe they also lost to the Commanders. I won't swear to it, but I think that is also one of their losses. And it's the reason why the Commanders are in first place ahead of them, I believe, actually. But so they've lost some weird games. The Fleet have, but they're pretty good at home. They just won on a game-winning field goal at home. They're gonna have that momentum. They're gonna be coming in hot. They're gonna be coming in charged up and fired up after that very good emotional win. Gonna be tough to beat at home, and that's another reason why I like them. Another reason why I don't like the Iron is because, yes, they won their first 3 games of the season with a dominating performance. They beat the hell right out of the Atlanta Legends, the Salt Lake Stallions, and the Memphis Express. When you really think of that, they beat the 3 worst teams in the league, and then the first time they play a team that is good in the Commanders, they lost. And then they play the Apollos last week, and then they get blown out 31-14. What I see in this Birmingham Iron team is exactly what everyone said it was going to be. Very bad offensive team, like just pitifully bad on offense, which they are, and a pretty good defensive team. The only time I've actually seen that defense do anything was against the 3 worst teams in the league. And now that they've played 2 good teams, they've lost. So what can we say about the Iron? They're incredibly overrated. They had a very favorable beginning strength. Like, their schedule to start the season off, very favorable. They had the 3 worst teams in the league by far. They beat 2 teams that are 1-4 and a 2-3 team. So, like, okay, that's not that good. Why are we overrating this Birmingham Iron team as like the best team in the league, or the second best team in the league, when they lost to the Commanders and now the Apollos? They're probably like the 4th best team in the league, maybe 5th, just based on, they can only beat the bad teams. And you know what? And until I actually see the Birmingham Iron beat a team that isn't one of the 3 bottom dwellers in the power rankings, because you have the Stallions at number 8, the Express at number 7, and the Legends at number 6. So, like, they haven't beat a team outside of the 3 bottom dwellers of the rankings. Why would you pick them to beat anybody who isn't named the Express, Stallions, or Legends? So, I don't know. The Iron seem a bit overrated based on the fact that beat the 3 worst teams, play 2 good teams, and you lose. I don't know about that. I know it's a little bit unfair to say, but I think the Iron are incredibly overrated. They're not as good as what we think. They're probably a 500 team, maybe 6-4, 5-5, maybe 4-6 at best. I don't know. Maybe they'll get lucky and play the Legends and the Iron a bunch of time. But again, I think this is going to be the Fleet's game to lose at home. I think they win 23-18, regardless of how good the defense is. I just don't think the Iron have the offense to do anything, and it really shows when they play these better teams how limited they truly are. And maybe their defense really isn't even that good after the Apollos just exposed how to beat them up. So, I don't know. All right, so let's go over my picks really quick one more time. I have the Express winning 23-20. I have 23-20 over the Stallions. I have the Express winning. I have the Apollos beating the Hotshots 35-25. I have the Commanders beating the Legends 24-20. And then I have, of course, the Fleet beating the Iron 23-18. Let's go on to our Week 6 AAF standings. And then, of course, in the East Division, we have... It's starting to actually shape up. We know what's what inside of the East, it looks like. We have the Apollos at 5-0. Iron at 3-2. Legends at 3-3, who can actually catch up to the Iron this weekend, which would be interesting. And the Express at 1-4. My favorite team just kind of sucks. It is what it is. You don't always like winners. The San Antonio Commanders in first place at 3-2. The San Diego Fleet, based on I think that the Commanders have beaten the Fleet. That's all that's about, I think. Won't swear to it, but they're in first. The Fleet at 3-2. The Hotshots at 2-3, and the Stallions at 1-4. Let's go over the Week 6 AAF Power Rankings. At number 8, we have the Salt Lake Stallions. They can't beat a team that they haven't played twice. Kind of makes me think they're a bad team. At number 7, we have the Memphis Express. They're down 1 spot to After losing to the Legends, you can't really have them ahead of the Legends. So, and after beating the Express, you go ahead of the Express. You're up 1 spot. Hotshots don't move at number 5. Down 2 spots to Birmingham Iron, all the way down to 4. I said they were going to get exposed. They got exposed. I said they couldn't beat teams that weren't bad. They couldn't beat a team that was good. Down 2 spots. I think they're incredibly overrated and got exposed. Then that moves the San Diego Fleet up 1 spot after an emotional game-winning field goal. Good job at number 3. Number 2, then that moves the San Antonio Commanders up 1 spot. They're in first place in their division. Why not have them here at number 2? And far, far, far away from the rest of them is the Orlando Apollos at number 1. It's really not even close. They're the best team in the league by far. Good job, Steve Spurrier. This is my overall pick'em record at 13-7. I've gone 2-2 for the last 3 weeks. I wonder what I'm going this week. I bet it rhymes with shoe and shoe. But all right, everybody, that is pretty much all I've got for this video. I don't know. I guess that's pretty good. I gave my picks. I hope you enjoyed them. 13-7 on the year, so I have some credibility. Hopefully, I start picking the games a little bit better. But with the Hotshots having been pretty bad, and me keep thinking they're going to turn it around, they've been screwing me over. So we'll see if picking against them is for the better. Who knows? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Both those things help grow the channel. Leave a comment down below with what you think of the picks. I'll make sure I comment back to you. You can say rude things. You can say nice things. I'll comment back. You can check all my other videos. I'm pretty good about continuing the conversation you want to have. If you take the time out of your day to comment, I can take the time out of mine to reply. That also helps grow the channel. So, all right, everybody. I thank you again for listening. I hope you have a good rest of the day, or for whenever you listen to this, good rest of the night, blah, blah, blah. All right, everybody. Peace out. Go Patriots. Stay tuned for NFL breaking news on my channel. Another reason to subscribe. I will be following free agency. Have a good one, and peace out.